Good morning, good morning, good morning again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article, share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever does actually see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, folks, please make sure to go ahead and utilize those headphones, all right? Trigger warning number 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised. Also, warning. I am getting my ass kicked by allergies. Bad. It's bad, folks, alright? So, if you hear any coughing, hacking, weird throat noises, or sneezing, my apologies for all of that in advance, alright? Okay, so where we left off last time. To provide context, the INSEAD has itself submitted a docket comment consistent with their 2006 report, specifically regarding the necessity of ESDs, and the INSEAD 2006 report relied in part on 3 behavioral psychologists serving as independent consultants. Remember, these are the same psychologists that Dr. Matthew Israel tried to convince the world were not qualified to make those judgment calls, in spite of the fact that, although not well known, he had his license yanked years ago in regards to being a psychologist. And as a matter of fact, the 3 individuals that they brought in as independent consultants had far more education as well as clinical experience in regards to not just dealing with people like me, but people with mental health issues, in particular PTSD. All right. So, yeah, someone like the FDA, a group of individuals who are supposed to be viewing this objectively, is going to rely more upon someone with that many letters behind their names with that far more clinical experience than are going to give weight to Dr. Matthew Israel, who had his license yanked and was the topic of the debate, right? That only makes sense, right? Who you going to give more weight? Objective individuals brought in as consultants, or someone whose livelihood is on the line should they make a decision that is a detriment to your center? Because I know who I would feel would be more objective. That is what the FDA is saying here. The INSEAD in 2006 also conducted interviews with individuals at JRC, something that you do not see in the 2005 report other than the parent interviews. God, if somebody could stop with what the parents said, that would be great because I'm tired. I am so tired. You have no idea. Now, I'm not saying that parents' perspectives are not important, but especially in regards to a residential program. Those parents might see those kids twice, maybe 3 times a year for maybe a couple hours at a time. Those who do home visits maybe get a little bit more time, but it's still not going to be the same amount of time that they spend in residency at that hellscape they call a school. Okay? Just saying. This is why the kids at the school and their interviews are given more weight to the by the FDA than the parent interviews. FDA believes it is reasonable to give more weight to the 2006 report because, unlike the 2005 report, its objective was to examine the use of ESDs for SIB or AB and included evaluations from independent behavioral psychologists as well as the results of patient interviews. This is where the FDA gets it wrong. That was not the sole intent of those unannounced visits. The actual point of the unannounced visits was to do a full review. With the GED device, yes, but they were also investigating those bizarre behavioral rehearsal lessons. Their job, like it's the job of everyone that is a part of committee of when things go wrong, are also going to investigate the quality of the food that is being served, the condition of the housing that the students are in, the treatment of these students there in their residential homes, as well as inside the school itself. It is an overall deep review of the entirety of the program. Okay? The GED device was a part of that overall review, and I understand why the FDA is putting such weight on it, but to make it sound like that it was literally targeting ESDs for SIB or AB and their effectiveness, short-sighted at best, all right? It was a review of the entirety of the whole program. In particular, besides the GED device, they were targeting those bizarre behavioral rehearsal lessons. And also the fact of what we had report in the residences of people being punched in face in showers, okay? It was an overall review. All right, so what did we learn here? The FDA gave more weight to the 2006 report, to put it simply, because it was an objective report that came out of unannounced visits, which means there was no time for the JRC to prepare for their arrival or put together a cute little package for these investigators to see only what the JRC wanted them to see. Okay? You're going to ultimately give more weight to objective, non announced visits, catching what you do when you think no one's watching. Then you're going to give credit to what is very obviously a guided tour of basically what the JRC wants you to see. Such tours do not give you the full picture of what is actually going on in that center. And because after that 2005 report came out, there were still these horrible things coming out through the reports. Reports that got dug into because of the 2006 case, where the individual was shocked multiple times. You see where it's going here, right? All right. Now, the FDA gave more attention to the use of the GED device, what it was being used for, Were individuals abusing the use of the GED device, shocking individuals for things that weren't even bad behaviors? Stimming, standing up for more than 3 seconds, things that are absolutely bizarre to anybody else outside of the JRC. And then their reasoning behind it. They're going to give more weight to that because they are witnessing this at a time period when the JRC doesn't have their hands on the controls. So a more honest observation can be done. It's the whole point of unannounced visits when we come in when things gone wrong. All right. We're going to go ahead and close on that. We don't get very many reviews on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I appreciate your time this morning. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you in a few minutes.